You doing the intro?
Do you want me to do the intro?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Count me down so I get this right.
5, 4,
From 5?
8,
You said 5, 4, 8.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello everyone and welcome to the first ever GameCast. I'm here with James, say hello.
Hello.
And I'm Jamie. So, we're just going to talk for the first one, and we have a few questions here that we have wrote down just to keep us on track. So, do you want to give a brief introduction to yourself and why you love gaming, James?
Ever since I was pretty young anyway, I've always just been, I don't know, I've just always been attached to it. I've never really been much of an outdoors person as a kid, so I always just kind of gravitated to just staying inside and playing on my PlayStation 1 when my brothers let me. And then eventually just that want to eventually get hold of the controller and play myself. And when I did get handed a controller from my brothers, that was it, like, just hooked from then on.
Were you one of those kids that was handed the controller that wasn't connected?
Yeah, pretty much,
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Like, I remember when we'd go for dinner, and I'd literally just scoff the fucking plate down. Just so I could run back upstairs and have the PlayStation controller for that 10 minutes before my oldest brother would come back up and just boot me out the room and be like, give me that. My turn to play.
You see,
And I just go back.
just scoffed the plate because I was just a greedy little bastard.
Yeah. And I just go back and just sit down and watch at the end of bed, like an annoying little shithead, like, you know.
I suppose this goes into our first question. What's our first gaming experience? So would that be the story you just told, or is there a gaming moment that you just remember, bam, this is it, I love gaming?
I suppose it just, again, was back to early memories of just playing PlayStation 1 in the house, and I never really knew my brothers brought home to play, and I just remember being fascinated playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater on the PlayStation 1, and I just thought it was just the coolest game ever.
That was what I was going to ask next. Would it have been the, let's say, highlights of the PlayStation 1, your Spyro, Crash Bandicoot, were those the kind of games that got you hooked on it, or?
Never really got to play those as a kid too much because, again, I was just kind of had to stick with what my brother was buying, so that was mostly just like GTA and the driver games. And
okay. Too old for Spyro and Crash.
FIFA, yeah. Too old for those. I missed out on those, and that's why I find in my later years I tend to be buying them just so that I can experience them in the old shit HD graphics they would have been at the time.
So, let's say everyone else is experiencing a nostalgia trip and you're experiencing it for the first time, the likes of Spyro and Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I didn't get to play the Insane Trilogy because I literally bought Crash Bandicoot 1 and 2 a couple of months before they even announced it. The new remastered trilogy being on the PS3, and I was like, oh, fuck it anyway. Like, I could have just done that 2 months earlier, and I could have, the price I paid for those two games, I could have got.
I didn't know they did a HD collection of Crash Bandicoot for the PlayStation 3, wasn't it?
PlayStation 4, no?
PlayStation 4. What?
Jeez, Crash Bandicoot.
Or is it Spyro we were talking about? What was Spyro we were talking about? Or Crash?
I thought about Crash.
Oh, Crash, yeah, that was what I was thinking, sorry. Well,
they brought the new Spyro remastered one out anyway. No?
Yeah, there's a new Spyro and there's a new Crash.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know there was one in between the original and the release.
There's
a HD remaster. I know they did like spin-offs, like Crash.
on PS2 anyway, they did spin-offs.
Yeah, they were absolutely shit.
Yeah, I never played those.
I did, because that was when
I missed out on those.
When me and my twin brother, when we were starting off gaming and whatnot, the PlayStation 2 was when we dived straight in. We did have a PlayStation 1. Actually, my first gaming experience is with PlayStation 1 when we were given we were given a lend, or we managed to get our own PlayStation 1 console, and we were setting it up for the first time, and we were unaware of what memory card was.
Oh, the good old days.
Yeah.
Not having a memory card.
Your 8 megabyte memory card.
Yeah.
So the very first game we bought was Star Wars The Phantom Menace, which is episode 1. So we were playing it over and over again. We could never get past level 2 anyway, so it didn't matter too much. So we would start over and over again each night, and each night we'd do the same thing, the exact same thing. We'd love it, and one of us would stare at the screen and watch the other, and then we'd take turns and so on and so forth. Until one day, my mother came home and said, guys, I have this little device here. Now what we heard is not what she said, although we will dispute that to this day. What she said is, if you die, this little device will bring you back to the same place where you died the next time you turn on the PlayStation. What we heard is, guys, when you die, this little device will knock you out. Over and over again, we jumped into fucking empty, bottomless pits, got killed by droidicas over and over again until we finally confronted our mother and she told us we were idiots and didn't listen at all. And it turns out she was right.
Yeah. That's not how we use a memory card anyway.
No. Luckily now they're internal. So, moving on to our next part. It's pretty broad question, and I do not expect a direct answer. You can give a few answers if you're not, but what is your favourite game series, or a few game series that have really touched your heart and your soul throughout your gaming experiences?
I guess you're going to be looking at things like maybe Metal Gear Solid and the Fallout series, obviously excluding Fallout 76.
Which we will get to.
Yeah, just don't even talk about that because biggest letdown ever. Yeah, no, I'm just joking.
No Man's Sky has actually earned back its praise, I believe. It's gone up from 20%, I think, on Steam to 76%, which is a massive increase. And that's based on overall reviews. So it means the last couple of reviews have actually been astronomical.
That's probably because they finally decided they actually needed to put a multiplayer in it.
Yeah, and actually decide maybe if we just make an empty sandbox, people won't like it. Not an empty sandbox, but an empty game, no one's going to enjoy it.
Fallout 76, but it's multi.
So leaving Fallout 76 aside, we're saying Fallout the series and Metal Gear would have been two series that have been really close to you throughout gaming. Do you remember like the excitement of when, let's say, those games were released? Did you like get on board at the start, or were you someone who jumped?
I remember when we had the PlayStation 1, and again back to being when I was a little kid, and we just had a demo of Metal Gear Solid and just putting it in PlayStation every now and then and just playing the first level where you're going through on the little one-man submarine thing into the underground layer of Shadow Moses in the water, and you're coming into that elevator scene, and that was pretty much the demo. Was just you get into that opening setting where Solid Snake comes up out of the water, he takes off his equipment, and then there's the guards floating around. Experience with that series, and I never really got to play it until a few years later when PlayStation 3 came out, and then I bought it on the store, and then I played it about 100 times, too many times, and then even then I never really knew much about the series anyway, but I had played like Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 and 4, but just kind of eventually fell back to playing the first one, which was where it all kind of started really, with the first one.
On a side note, my god, the demos before, I remember when I was younger and you got the PlayStation magazine, I'm assuming that's where you got it from, something like that, where it was included with it.
Yeah.
I used to think the demos were like, oh my god, this is almost like a full game. And now when you're looking back on it, it's literally like the tiniest scene ever from the game.
Yeah, and it's mostly just it's not even a complete game as well, so it's just buggy.
There'd usually be like one good game on those demos,
yeah,
and the rest of it was just trailers and other crap.
Garbage, yeah.
Yeah, so I personally loved Metal Gear, and it was actually James here who got me interested in it when he was explaining to me the entire story and whatnot, and we spent days where he would teach me pieces of the entire series, and I took so long to grasp it. Like, it really is a series that requires dedication and learning and adjusting to the crazy mind of Hideo Kojima.
There's just too much in it.
Like
I think that Kojima and then Konami were probably like, this shit's just going too far. Kojima's going mad. We just need to fuck up the company to just stop making this.
We need to make arcade machines.
We just need to make arcade machines and just rob people's money.
Saying that though, I am looking forward to Death Stranding.
Yeah,
but I think the problem with Metal Gear was towards the end, they didn't actually know how to finish it off properly. The Phantom Pain was obviously unfinished. That's widely reported.
100% fact. Yeah.
I think that if they did go with let's say the final chapter, because even chapter 2 you can see they're repeating a lot of missions. Yeah, in fact, do repeat a lot of missions.
Yeah, that's just when I realised that kind of playing the game at the start, and then I was like, oh, this is fantastic, it's so amazing, graphics are cool,
Yeah.
gameplay is great. And I got to the end and I started noticing it was kind of looping, and I was like, I didn't know what to think of it. It was just one of those weird game mechanics where they just run out of things for you to do, and it just gets you to repeat the same thing. But then found out that there's a missing chapter in the game, and basically it was just kind of rushed out, just to kind of get it out there.
And spoilers for anyone who hasn't kind of dived into the world of Metal Gear. The whole, I'd argue, Phantom Pain is about the evolution of Snake's family, and where you discover Eli, who's actually Liquid and whatnot. And they left out the final chapter, which I think would have really kind of finished off the arc, where we discover Eli's true hatred of Snake in Rumor, because Venom Snake leaves Eli to die, apparently. And I think that really would have finished towards humanity, basically.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think they really could have done it justice. I would much rather have finished Chapter 3 than have got Metal Gear Survive. That was complete bollocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they need to leave Metal Gear die now.
Yeah, I have to go back and maybe play it again, because I have a vague recollection of what happens. I know it's, correct me if I'm Liquid with Sahelanthropus running off with all the little African kids.
Yeah, let's say that's the end of the kind of mainstream story, and then it spins off to reveal that Venom was actually the helicopter, the medic. He was the medic the whole time, which was a cool twist, but it was just thrown in there just to kind of.
It was only there to keep continuity of the story, which basically set up the next Metal Gear game, which was the very first ever Metal Gear game.
Yeah, Metal Gear No Solid.
Yeah. Basically Metal Gear on the MSX, which was just some other little, like a Commodore game thing. Just set that up.
Yeah, like anyone who, I think that scene would have been perfect to end Chapter 2, because it really would have given true fans of the series the payoff that they needed. Like, oh, it makes sense now how he survived the explosion in the original Metal Gear. That they could have found conclusion with the end of Chapter 3 that we never got. So that's Metal Gear. Fallout. Now, I personally have never, I'm going to get crucified probably for this, but I've never finished a Fallout game, because there's too much content in it for me to get stuck in. What about you?
I remember I basically how I got into Fallout 3 was a friend of mine.
So it was 3 you started with?
It's 3 I started with, yeah. I'd never even heard of the game series before, but I suppose 3 was the most mainstream one. The predecessors before that were kind of RTS, real-time strategy games, which don't really appeal to mainstream gamers because they can be quite slow-paced. Kind of first-person shooter, open world, kind of RTS, but that was played down. That's what the VATS was there for. The system where the game freezes and you aim in, and that's supposed to be the real-time strategy side of it. But the first time I played it was I got my PS3 for the first time ever. A friend of mine told me to get it, I never knew what it was, and it scared the shit out of me the first time I played it. I'd say I started it up at least 5 times and got to Megaton and went... Because you go to Megaton and then you have to get to Rivet City, but to get to Rivet City you have to go under the metro station, and the ghouls used to just frighten the shit out of me. And I was like, nope, turn it off. And then I'd come back to this another day.
I experienced similar. So... playing Fallout 4, which was quite kind of poorly received for obvious reasons. The game was clearly lacking something. I don't know what, but the game was lacking something. It didn't feel right.
It kept that weird...
It kept the kooky vibe of Fallout.
It kept that weird kooky vibe that Fallout has. You know, like in Fallout 3 you go to one particular vault and it's run by kids. And the first time you see him he's just spouting all this bad language at you, and you know he's trying to be over and above you, and even like just that weird kookiness. They managed to keep that, but just the story was just very lackluster.
Yeah, like I got Fallout 4 is a game where it wasn't the first Fallout game I got. I got Fallout 3 knowing that Fallout 4 was coming, and I needed to brush up on my kind of knowledge of Fallout and what. I got a bit through Fallout 3. I didn't really play much of the main quest. I said I'll come back for Liam Neeson some other time.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
he's the fan.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, so I went off Rome and whatnot. I didn't realise that like It's not designated on the map, but there is different level caps from each place, and I was roaming about getting slaughtered by people. So then I kind of got the gist of it. I said, yeah, okay, Fallout 4 is coming, I'm going to get that. I got it when it came out, and I started playing it, and I was just thinking, I've only played about 3 or 4 hours of Fallout 3. I can already tell that that game had a special something that Fallout 4 had. I think I've narrowed it down that the NPCs are way too fucking generic.
In Fallout
4.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, there isn't actually that many NPCs.
There's not. There's not ones that are like who. What's the name of those guys who? Oh, they have the weird ray guns and the cowboy hats and Minutemen. Is that them?
Minutemen. Oh Jesus.
Like
yeah.
they're fucking tedious to deal with.
They're supposed to be this huge faction that you overtake these settlements for, and like you barely see them. Like the cool thing about Fallout 3 is you'd see the Brotherhood roaming wasteland, and that was cool because it felt like, you know, they're actually out there and they're actually doing something. But in Fallout 4 it's like
Fallout 4, it's like they're chained to their set locations.
Yeah.
Like I know the Minutemen wander about your main hub.
Yeah.
But like you can't run across the wasteland and just run into someone like, oh hey,
yeah,
come do a
well,
quest
outcast guy, you're out here, what you doing?
Kind of contrary to Skyrim, where you could run along a beach and all of a sudden some NPCs run at you saying, quick, hold this, and he throws you a sword and all that kind of, like,
that's that.
to me fell on the
Well, yeah,
that's the whole thing.
I think that's in Fallout.
Is it Fallout?
Something like that in Fallout.
Maybe someone will know.
But yeah, what's your...
My favourite game series? I'm going to start off with the game series that when games come out, you're like, oh, I can't wait for the sequel. I can't wait for the sequel. And you know that it's going to be a proper series. For me, that was Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time. That was the game series that started off for me.
You've got me stumped on those. I've never played.
Really? Yeah. We had this old, I don't even remember the make of the phone. It was a battered piece of shit. And for instance, the screen was just blue. Like, it was blue LEDs. There was no actual, like it's not like smartphones out. It was like one of the Nokia 3310, only with a little funny disco looking light on it. And it had Prince of Persia on it, the mobile edition, which would have been based on the original, I think it was Apple.
The mobile games were so bad.
Oh, it was amazing, this game. You pressed up to jump and it took 30 seconds for him to actually jump. And we were playing that and we loved the mobile game for some reason. Both of us would just sit beside each other and just start playing it. Watching it and like, oh, jump now, hit now.
Quick side note, have you ever played the Splinter Cell mobile games?
Yes.
Those are fucking cool.
I bought those.
They're cool.
I bought those waiting for Prince of Persia to come out.
Yeah.
I played this Prince
Splinter Cell. Good. But yeah, Prince of Persia anyway.
Prince of Persia anyway. So when Sands of Time came out, me and my brother, we didn't realise that we were going to love it so much. We didn't realise it was going to be a game that was going to come on our radar until we went to one of our cousins' house. And he had Prince of Persia. And my brother came back raving about this game and whatnot. And I said, oh yeah, we used to play it on mobile. Yeah. So one day, he had gone to town, I had gone to a friend's. I came back and he said, I bought this cool game, you're going to love it. And it was Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time. He was about 20 minutes into the game and he told me it was about 2 hours, so I said, right, I'm going to leave it. So then that night I said I'd start a new game. And I got like a boost of like motivation to keep on when I realised he wasn't actually that far ahead of me.
Yeah.
So I overtook him and then we played off my load, and we would only play it when we were like together so that we knew the story and we knew what was going on. But it got to a certain part in the game where we were just terrified. Like you were saying with Fallout, where if you don't know The Sands of Time, you don't know.
No.
Okay,
I know the game titles and stuff, and I've tried. There's one on the PS2 that I actually have it at home. Oops. I have it at home on the PS2 disc, and I put it in. I tried to play it, but
What?
again, I don't know what I thought. I think I just didn't play it. Like, I think I just like, oh, Prince of Persia, never played this before, and I just put it in, and I was like, okay, it seems okay, and then I was like, actually, I just want to play this instead today, and then that was my Prince of Persia.
What I will say about Prince of Persia is it's like, let's say you don't like Resident Evil 4. If you're going to play Resident Evil 4, you have to be in the mood for it. Jesus. Resident Evil 4, you have to be aware, like, it's Resident Evil 4, it's not going to be, like, it's linear gameplay, linear kind of stuff. Prince of Persia, I'll explain the synopsis as quickly as I can. Obviously Prince, he's not given a first name for obvious reasons. I don't know why. He's given one in Jake Gyllenhaal's
So his
film.
name is just
They
Prince.
just call him Prince. Okay. He is at war with I don't even remember what kingdom it is.
I guess Persia.
No. He's the Prince of Persia. Okay.
So he's at war with Persia.
He's at war with someone else.
Okay.
All right. His father is obviously leading the war, and he sneaks in and he heads down to the Maharaja, who's the enemy.
Yeah.
He heads down to his treasure vault. Sex lair, that's it, exactly. He goes in, there's chains and
Chains, yeah.
Yeah. He goes in and
Welcome to a sex lair, Mr. Persia.
he goes in and there's this huge hourglass called the Sands of Time, which is rumoured in their lore to control past events and whatnot. You could use it to alter time and all this kind of crack. But he says he wants to claim his own trophy, that he can't fucking halt the hourglass out himself. So what he does is he ventures further through the treasure vault, and he discovers a little dagger. And as he does, he looks up and a small piece of rock debris is coming loose from the roof, and it falls, and he hits the hilt of the dagger, and it rewinds time. Okay? Because it contains the sands of time.
Oh.
Okay? So on and so forth. They bring the hourglass back home, and the vizier, who would have been his king's advisor, his father's advisor, tricks the prince to use the dagger as a key to open up the hourglass. And when he does, it unleashes the sands of time, turning everyone into what's called sand monsters and like zombie-like creatures and brain dead. And so the whole game is about you journeying to try reverse the effects, and you have to actually team up with a girl called Farah, who is the Maharaja's daughter, and the whole relationship with them, they hate each other, they don't know whether they trust each other, and in the end they actually turn out being in love. And
sounds about right.
Yeah. So she, towards the end of the game, the vizier manages to kill Farah, and you use the sands of time to go back to the start of the game, and you start sprinting just before the war starts to go to her chambers, and you're explaining everything that happened to her, okay, and so then that's the end of the first game.
Yeah.
So when you get to the second game, you're being chased by an evil demon called the Dahaka. Yeah. There's actually a cool thing about the Dahaka that I'll get to now in a second. Right? I think his name is the Dahaka. Either that or I'm just really insulting the New Zealand war dance.
Yeah.
Dahaka.
Just thinking about that.
Dahaka. Anyway,
Dahaka, boy.
anyone who opens the sand time and messes with time is haunted by a beast called the Dahaka who protects the timeline. So the prince is trying to stop it from chasing him because he knows he's a dead man walking. So he travels to the island of time to seek out the empress who made the hourglass.
Yeah.
And he finds her and whatnot, and he manages to go back in time, prevent everything from happening, and he's okay.
Yeah.
That's the end of the second game. The third game, called The Two Thrones, this is the end of the main trilogy. Okay.
Two Thrones come out like around Lord of the Rings time or something, or just...
No. It's called The Two Thrones. I think Prince of Persia, The Two Thrones. Yeah, I'm right. Sorry, it's been a really, really long time since I played the game again. And yeah, so in the third game, he's finally traveling home with the empress who made the sands, who is now his wife. I think either that or he's just banging around the side. And he goes back and he just in time. That war that he was in the first game happened. Persia lost. The vizier conquered Persia, and he now has the hourglass of time.
Yeah.
Not the hourglass. Sorry. He captures the empress, takes the dagger, stabs her, and consumes the sands, becoming an entity that can control time and whatnot. And so on and so forth. The whole way through the game, you're trying to save Persia, and you're fighting the vizier. In the end, you manage to kill him and defeat a sand demon that's living within yourself who's trying to consume you. He's called the Dark Prince.
Okay.
Because your arm was lacerated and pieces of the sand got into you, and it transforms you, and you have to go through, for some reason, going through water deactivates it. So at the end of the game...
Like well, not really, I suppose. I was just going to say it sounds like liquid when he gets his... Oh no, yeah.
Like
when he
liquid
gets...
Ossa.
Yeah, when he gets his hand chopped off. And Ossa gets his hand chopped off and he takes it from liquid and
Yeah.
attaches it
For
on.
anyone who doesn't know, this Metal Gear talk again.
But obviously, like, Ocelot wasn't actually overcome by Liquid's personality because he stuck the arm on. He just brainwashed himself into thinking he was actually good.
All part of the get rid of the Patriots, isn't it?
It's the greater good. Yeah.
So, one thing that Prince of Persia was always good at is that there was moments during the games where it was obvious, like, oh, there's a huge boss battle coming and all,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden they turned it and they used that. Right, and in the end of the third game, you defeat the Vizier, you meet Farah again, she has no idea who you are, but you know who she is because you've retained your memory. Okay? And you turn around and the Dark Prince has separated from you, and he invites you into a battle in your subconscious. So you're invited in, and you were battling away with him.
It's just fucking with your mind.
Yeah, he's fucking with your mind. He wants you to stay fighting so that he can slowly overcome you. The trick of the boss battle is they actually just want you to turn and walk away. Up the stairs and leave, and I was just blown away. I was like, this is perfect. Like, it fits the story so well. Like, usually stuff like this is explained in a cutscene. You don't actually get to do it yourself, and I really enjoyed that. And the Prince of Persia. God, I'll be murdered. Anyway, the Two Towers. It finishes off with the prince turning to Farah and saying, "People think time is like a river that moves swift and sure in one direction, but I'm here to tell you it's not." All of a sudden, the game cuts to the very first scene of Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time, where he's running through the jungle to go to Farah, and it shows you like his whole journey through time and whatnot. And I was like, this is the perfect way to end the series. It only went on for 3 games, and every time it came out, I remember rushing into GameStop to get it. Warrior with him was personally the hardest one, because the Haka chase scenes were fucking frightening. And I remember I said that he'd be screaming gibberish at you. If you actually rewind it, he's like chatting shit to you.
Right.
If you do it in reverse, so to play on the whole time concept. So like if you like obviously if you play it backwards, he's saying stuff like, "You won't escape me," but when you play it forward, so yeah, like the Prince of Persia series is probably one of my favorite game series, if not my favorite, because nostalgia reasons. Like I would love a proper remaster of those games. Not a HD collection, because they brought out one of those, and I probably would have enjoyed it more to play it on the PlayStation 2 or the PlayStation. Or the PlayStation 2 on their original releases, because I don't think a HD remaster did it much justice. So wow, I kept that going a long time.
And it's soliloquy off to the side. We kind of like bet. Soliloquy.
We're okay. So we're moving on to another question. We're going to go away from favorite game series and whatnot. We're going to start off with a question that probably gets angry more than anything at our purchase. But what game did you buy thinking it would be good, but you fucking hated? Cue Fallout 76.
For Fallout 76 for one. And then
Explain why you hated Fallout 76.
It's just that it was bad
Because
anyway.
of all the hype. Well, not the hype, the bad hype around it.
I went into it knowing it was bad, but I didn't realize it was as bad. I was like, can't be that bad. I'll give it a go at least. So then bought it, and I had the first kind of scene out of it where you're exiting the vault and you're allowed to go off and go on your own way, and then kind of wandering around and listening to the tapes and realizing there's no NPCs, and it's just this vast emptiness, and it's just this weird game. It's just very quiet. It's just hard to explain. Like it's just silent when you're going around.
That's the perfect word that anyone's used to describe it. Silent.
It's just silent.
Like I know it has the multiplayer function and whatnot, but like the core game is empty.
Like it's just. I know I haven't. Like I'm sure they've probably put some update since it came out to make it somewhat more interesting. I've recently tried to look up the player count base for it. It seemed shocking. I can't remember the exact figure, but it doesn't seem too great as what they probably expected and wanted of it. But I probably played it for a solid week, and I just kind of let it down then. I still have the game. I haven't really traded it in or done anything. It's just kind of sitting there because the week it came out, and then the week after the trade-in value was just shot, and it was like €10 in GameStop. A little, not even much more in CX or whatever, like, so.
CX, the true champions of trading.
Yeah, like, just a good point, actually. Yeah, they do tend to be.
They're more reasonable, and their prices as well are very.
But yeah, that was.
Speaking of Fallout 76, I personally haven't played it. Okay, because even when I saw the launch trailer and saw,
I'll give you a loan of it if you want to try.
I'm perfectly fine. Thank you very much. I've more than enough games to get through without that shit. When I saw the launch trailer for Fallout 76, I automatically, not even being a massive Fallout fan, saw multiplayer and went, "Oh."
Yeah, it's just not something that.
If you're,
I can't think of any Bethesda game that has multiplayer in it.
Yeah, well, Skyrim, but that's a different entity altogether.
Yeah,
not
that's
Skyrim, Oblivion. Fucking hell, Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, that's an MMO. Like that,
Yeah.
They actually went in with the intention of making this, and they're still supporting it even to this day with making DLC with the most recent Morrowind. And I've not played that, but it looks great, and again, people do seem to enjoy it.
Yeah, it's kind of like.
But again, I'm sure that has like NPCs and lore and
World
story.
of Warcraft Lite.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, Fallout 76. Did you know in Germany, a certain store, I don't know which one, but a game store over there, it was cheaper for them to give you a free copy of the game than it was just to give it back. So anyone who came in and bought anything got a free copy of Fallout 76. If you bought, they used to have, you know, the cards, the PSN cards?
Yeah.
They had, like, let's say it was a €10 PSN card. They had that taped to Fallout 76. So when you bought the €10 PSN card,
Yeah.
you got Fallout 76. And they still made more money doing that than would have just returned it to the center.
That's good business practice.
Yeah. They did it with the like controllers and everything. As well. Anything you bought, fucking anything. You walk into the shop, they were in free, but they were in a basket saying "take me." So
I'm sure that probably still reflected on the overall. So when they cut up the figures of the sales units, I always find it hard to find out if it's how many units they sold to the retail stores.
yes,
Or is it how many units that people actually bought?
I suppose that's where concurrent player base is
Yeah.
where you. But it's hard to do that when it's like a single player game or something.
Yeah.
But generally, I just look up reviews and I don't trust the one site. I go to many sites, and Fallout 76 did not do well.
Yeah.
So, I suppose, what game did you buy thinking it would be great? This is very controversial because it's a game that a lot of people hold to heart, and they call it one of the best exclusives of all time. I bought a game called Horizon Zero Dawn.
I didn't play it, and again, seems to be one of those games that was hyped up, and I've been told you gotta check this out. It's amazing. Graphics are so good. I mean, it does look like a beautiful game.
Yeah.
I'm sure, like, you can't really.
You can't dispute that.
Dispute that. But again, beautiful game doesn't mean it's good. Like, and I try to stay away from a lot of that. I find lately a lot of games they try to sell themselves based on how good they look. What's that new game, Anthem? Who does that?
That's BioWare.
So okay, so I thought it was something like EA or something like that. I noticed this recent trend where they're like BioWare or something. Yeah. Yeah, forgot about that actually. Yeah. But yeah, you notice that a lot of games these days when they, and again, a lot of gamers have noticed it too, is that the initial trailer or gameplay feature of it looks stunning, and then when it comes to the actual release time frame, and they're like, "Oh, we have the gameplay," it looks nothing like.
You see some 30-second perfect clip.
But again, like Horizon Zero Dawn seems to be one of those games where they showed the footage of it and the game came out and it looks the way it should look.
I won't dispute that it is a good game. I wouldn't go as far to say a great game.
Yeah,
because it plays the gameplay in it. Like, let's say running from A to B to get to a mission is fantastic. The world looks amazing. The character herself looks great. When you get to a cutscene or interact with a player, you're literally it's Fallout 4, like some generic kind of fucking dialogue tree. Like, and I was thinking, a game that's like this, that's based on graphics and whatnot, they should have cutting edge cutscenes, not this in-game kind of style of cutscene. Like, it bugged me. Like, I'm going to go to one of my favorite games, The Last of Us. When you got to a cutscene, The Last of Us, you shut up and listen.
Yeah.
Horizon Zero Dawn, is one of the first games where I openly skipped cutscenes and interacted with people because it's just bollocks what they're saying.
Yeah.
You must run to A. Why must I run to point A? Because there is a thing at point A. Okay, I will go to point A, and then on the map go to fucking point A, and you'll have a ball of a time going there. But when you get there, some idiot telling you you must kill exactly 2 dinosaur robots. Why must I kill exactly 2 dinosaur robots? Because I told you to kill 2 dinosaurs.
Do they sound like Native American Indians?
That's what they're based on, like cowboys or not cowboys, Indian and shit.
Cowboy Indian.
Cowboys and Indians. They're based on like pride and all that kind of stuff. And like they rely on that kind of storyline, like you know, like initiation. You have to go through hunting and all that kind of stuff. And like you are the chief. And I'm not into that kind of stuff. So for me, Horizon Zero Dawn, I bought it and I was like, yeah, I can't wait to dive into a real epic adventure and whatnot. But when I started playing it, I was like, oh. And I turned it back on last weekend, and I'm like, I really, really hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I wasn't wrong.
Okay. Let down.
It was a letdown for me. Not saying that's a bad game.
Can you think of any game that you bought and you hated it so much that you literally just returned it the day you got it?
Metal Gear Survive.
Okay, I didn't know you got that.
I
told
bought
you not to get. I think I told you not to get.
it. Was like €10, but for a reason.
Yeah, the one that I got was Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I literally went to GameStop. I bought it. I'd say it was just after.
That's Kevin Spacey's one.
Yeah, just the afternoon, and I brought it back home and put it on. I'd say I played it for about 2 hours, and it was like the game was hacked or something with the way people were moving. I was like, oh fuck this shit. It's like they're fucking using time warps or some shit, because that game, this exosuit thing, and that was just crazy. That was the first one that brought the exosuit in, wasn't it?
The exosuit, yeah.
That was crazy, and I was like, oh, this is just garbage. I brought it back.
They hinted a bit at the exosuit kind of shit in Black Ops 2 with the kind of the futuristic aspect of it, but for me, Call of Duty started to die after Black Ops 2.
Right. That was a good time when GameStop used to do that thing where if you bought a game and you brought it back and you hated it, you could just swap it for something else right away. I don't even know if they do that anymore.
I don't think so. I know a guy tried it when I was there last
That
time.
was
They were
just,
told
that
no.
was just the best policy ever. It as well. At some stage when you went in and they were like, oh, if you hate the game, bring it back, swap it for something else. I think they only did that now realising that they would have sold that as second hand then.
Yeah.
They get more money after second hand games than selling the actual.
Yeah.
So I'd say they were more than happy to do that, but they don't seem to do it now.
No, I remember one time they did a thing where if you broke your disc or scratched your disc or whatever and needed it repaired, €5 and it would replace the game. You get a brand new game and they keep your damaged copy. Obviously, clean it up, replace it, and sell it again. I was thinking that was the best fucking promotion ever.
Is that if you had the game protection on it?
No.
No?
No, you didn't need it. I remember they had like a little, I don't know if you know this, but in retail they're called Fallen Angels, the little kind of see-through plastic thing where they have A3s hanging up on it.
Oh yeah.
And they had one of those on the counter saying, scratch game, unplayable, we're not bringing it into us for €5, we will replace it. And I brought Saw 2 in, and I got fixed and brought it back. And I had to endure that shit fest for another few weeks until I finished it. And I will honestly say I read every single walkthrough so I could just finish that game and say I finished it and never have to look at it again. So, we'll move on to the next question. What game did you last complete? Which it's probably been about 4 years since you last finished the game.
The last game is it like the last game I actually just sat down and was like, I'm gonna finish this from start to end.
I'll narrow it down. The last game you actually saw end credits for.
End credits for Assassin's Creed Origins.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a fucking... Oh yeah, I remember you telling me you got that game. That's a really, really long game. And with being such a long game, did you feel like, oh, thank God?
No, I would have went back and played it again. I thought it was just fantastic. It was... I think that came out... I think... Was that the time when... what are they called? The dudes that make Assassin's Creed?
Ubisoft.
I think that was the first game they released, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna go on a hiatus for a while," and then
that's what they need.
But is that the game that?
That was the game where
they were like, "Oh, everyone was sick of Assassin's Creed," and they're like, "Right, we're gonna just take a break."
We got Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which was the one in London where they included like wave
and then
shit on the map.
They took a break then for a while.
They took a break. They worked on Origins.
Yeah, that was needed because they just needed to refresh and rebrand the series in a way.
Yeah.
Now, I'd admittedly say I was playing it and and again, another friend of mine, who was an absolute diehard for The Witcher, had mentioned to me that it has a lot of Witcher 3 mechanics in it. And did you play Witcher 3?
Oh yeah,
You
finished it?
noticed
No, but yeah.
there's a lot of mechanics are the same, with like kind of crafting things and.
Again, it's like Witcher Light.
But like again, that wasn't a bad idea to do because The Witcher was a super successful game and it broke, don't fix it. And I know they copied a lot of it, but it worked with the Assassin's Creed setting and the scene and the story, and it was a great game.
Do you know on Witcher 2 they actually take the piss out of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
There's an area in the map where you go and there's actually a dead guy lying beside a hay bale, and Geralt says, what's he say, like something like, stupid idiots are always at this or something like that. And it's just some guy on the ground, he's mush in a white cloak. But again, I think with Assassin's Creed, the fact that they brought out Odyssey so close to Origin, I was like, you're repeating the same mistake. This is a reskinned version of Origins.
I like the way that they I mean, like Black Flag was
the last good Assassin's Creed.
That was amazing. The whole Irish seas upgrading their ship and blowing shit up. That was
because it was different. It was different.
It was different. Yeah, you're not just in this medieval city going around and stabbing people and sitting on benches like the first one, which is just the same thing over and over again. But for some reason, it's
tail this person. You were too far from this person. You're too close to this person.
Eavesdrop on this person.
Ezio's is the best. I will have no one argue with that. Ezio's series is the best. But when they tried to bring out Assassin's Creed 3 and they tried to do something different, they completely bombed it by making a huge map with fucking nothing in it. You couldn't move through snow, and I had no interest in the main character.
Yeah. I never really played 3. 3 is the only one that I haven't played, really, to be honest.
The coolest fucking character in Assassin's Creed 3 is not even the main villain. He's the sub-villain.
Okay.
And he fucking meets his end before the game even finishes.
And I have Odyssey at home, and I got stuck into the first. There's like the starting island you started off on. It's basically just a tutorial. It took me 10 hours to complete everything on the island. Because I have this thing with Assassin's Creed. I don't know what it is when you play it, and for some reason it lasts a while. You know the way they do like in areas. You go to certain areas. You do the viewpoint. You do a couple of quests. You do the main quests. You do a couple of side quests. And you collect all the loot, and that's why I got so hooked with the Origins, because you'd go to each area and it was like do the viewpoint, loot, do the layers with the animals in it, and
it was fucking impossible.
Do the, I don't know what they call them, like the big boss ones, like an Origin. Yeah, you'd go and kill, and I think I was only a couple of trophies off the platinum and that, and basically it's the same again. And obviously I got hooked on the first island and played it for 10 hours, and then got out onto the season. And it's kind of like Black Flags had a baby with Origins, the way you can go out on boats and stuff.
Yeah, I do like how like distant they are from each other, because if you look at Assassin's Creed, let's say 2 up until 3, they all look pretty similar to each other. Like 2, Revelations, Brotherhood, they're all obviously Ezio, they're all very similar. But then when I got to 3, I found it's following the exact same colour scheme. It just looks the same. It's kind of keeping the whole dull look that worked for Ezio, but didn't work for Connor. But that's what I found.
What about yourself? What was the last game?
Last game I finished, Red Dead Redemption 2. Wow. If you haven't played Red Dead Redemption 2, or in fact Red Dead Redemption 1, or if you didn't know there's a third one called Red Dead Revolver, with a guy called Red or something like that, who is actually, you can get an Easter egg of him in Red Dead Redemption 2. I played Red Dead Redemption 1. After the hype died down about it, I didn't even realise it was a thing. I went back, I bought it before Red Dead 2 was announced years ago. Excuse me. And I bought Red Dead Redemption 2 for €50, which is quite cheap nowadays, considering games are retailing at €70, which is getting too expensive now. And all the guys, I bought a few copies for the guys from my work that they were selling it so cheap. They had all started playing it and they were saying, "Oh, it's great, it's great, it's great, it's great." I left it dormant for a long time.
Red Dead 2.
Red Dead 2. I left it dormant for about 2 weeks, and I let everyone get a hit, and I let the hype kind of start to stop. And I said I'm going to form my own opinion, because I played first 2 hours of it, and it took ages to get into it. Did you experience this as well?
Yeah, again, Same again, yeah. I played the first few hours of an. I don't know what it is. I think it's just cowboy games. I just can't get into it. The only cowboy game I ever got into, and it's an absolute pile of trash, and it's just a big shoot 'em up. It's Call of Juarez.
I fucking played that.
It's just so.
There's
cool.
a few of them. Is there?
There's a few. There's one on PS3. I can't remember the name of it. I think it was only cost a couple of quid, and just bought it, not knowing anything about it, and it's just a big shit shoot fest garbage game mechanics.
I think if you just go into it knowing this is a load of bollocks, just have fun, you're gonna have fun. Man.
Yeah.
But like with Red Dead 2, like I wouldn't be mad on cowboys or any of that kind of crack. Like I'm not 90 years old. Cowboy movies, westerns aren't exactly my thing. It for me, the whole story is about redemption. I don't want to give it away because I know a lot of people still when have played it, they're going to get into it when it gets cheaper.
Definitely, I haven't really got too far into it myself, and just when I have time to sit down to actually go through it. Yeah. It's a stunning game. Again, it's just one of those games that is, again, credit to Rockstar when they're slow at making games, but when the games do come out,
yeah,
they are.
You know, it's going to be a fucking hit. Like Red Dead, the story it is what it says. It's all about the redemption. I don't want to give too much away. Like when I say redemption, people might think like it's a character who's trying to do good from a previous like fault or whatnot. It's not like that at all. It's more of like a realization. I'll leave it at that. But when I finished that game, I just things happen throughout the game that make you that emotionally fucking connect to you. And you wouldn't have expected that from a game that's linked to fucking Grand Theft Auto 5, for God's sake. Same makers. And if you have played Red Dead Redemption 1, you'll know the links you make with these characters, these wacky, over-the-top characters that Rockstar are known well for with Grand Theft Auto 5 with Trevor, and we had, what was his name, Nico Bellic in Rome and all that. Like those kind of characters exist in Red Dead Redemption 2. And you will grow to love them. Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of the only games where I've actually openly went around to learn everyone's names. So then I could walk past them and just be like, oh, there's Mary, there's John, obviously, there's Uncle, there's like, and you could feel go up and talk to these people, and you genuinely care what they're going to say. Like it's sub dialogue based on the main story, and I've actually never been more interested to know that. I think
you just got a little bit too sucked into it there.
But I didn't though. I didn't go into this game going, I'm gonna live this game, because I have a philosophy: if the game doesn't get me in the first 3 hours, they obviously don't deserve any more playtime. So Red Dead Redemption 2 was the last game that I finished. Moving on to the present, what game are you playing right now? That isn't racing.
Well, that's all I do play lately, to be honest. Pretty much it. Yeah, mostly now at the moment, because it's just a bit more casual and a bit easier to do. You know, you just chuck it on and you just sit down and just ramble around the track for an hour or two. Mostly sim racing, because I bought like one of those steering wheels that gives you feedback while you're playing. Yeah, that was a couple of €100, but it was worth it because it was super fun. You sit down and you have it on your desk, and it gives you it's a feedback wheel, like, so you can turn up the settings, and it really does like give you a good
like throttle back and
good throttle back, like, and your arms will be pooped after, like, 'cause, like there's one racing game, it's called Assetto Corsa, and it's a super hardcore sim racer, and like I could sit there for an hour playing that, doing just one race a night.
And would you be like a fan of like racing and whatnot? Like let's say outside the game, and would you watch it on TV?
Yeah, like I'd mostly just watch Formula 1 racing, and that's that's the thing that I'm into, because Formula 1 has this weird thing where it's almost like a soap opera with the actual racers, because they're just constantly bitching and arguing about each other.
Oh, okay.
It's just entertaining to watch, because they're always trying to get this small edge over each other. We're trying to say that they're cheating in some way, and they're trying to manipulate the rules, and it's just this weird soap opera almost in the background. It's hardcore racing, but then just kind of weird soap opera. It's like watching EastEnders or something.
Oh God, don't say that. Don't fucking say that.
Or Coronation Street.
You see, I don't drive. It's one of my many faults in life. I never learned to drive. Well, hopefully I'll learn to drive very soon. So for me, the games, let's say any racing games that I've ever played, it's been the likes of your Need for Speed Underground.
Yeah.
the very famous titles were. The only reason I bought those games is because the customization on the cars, I loved it.
Those
so
were
much.
cool, yeah. Like,
it was so cool. 10 times better, and you were like, yeah, mine's cool.
yeah, but to be honest, now if you had your memory card from good old Need for Speed Underground, or Underground 2, and if you could just pop that into the PS2 and look at the cars you designed, your eyes would just pop out.
Little box, red with NOS wrote across the back of it.
Red with yellow with red decals and blue wheels and green neons and blue windows. just
like a unicorn got sick.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, for me at the moment in time, I have no set game playing right now, like yourself. No set game, but I like to bounce around a bit, just like my big fat belly.
Mm.
Yeah. The game I'm playing right now is obviously Horizon Zero Dawn, but I think I'm going to play it for another 2 hours, and then after that, if I say I don't like it, I give it a good try. After pumping about 10 hours into the game already, I've progressed the story enough that I should be developing right now. We should be out of the tutorial stage. We should be into the main book of the game. I had Metro Exodus again. I just couldn't do it.
Actually, I did buy. I was in CEX recently enough, and they had a copy of New Vegas Ultimate Edition. So it just had all the DLC on it.
Yeah.
The PC. I don't know, just something nice about playing it with a controller. So I could play it with a controller on PC.
Yeah, that's why
I like to just sit down in bed and just have it on the PlayStation and play it.
I could never lay down in bed when I was gaming.
It's the only way I play.
No,
and I just threw it on a couple of nights ago just to kind of give it a bit of a run through anyway. It's very slow to start off, but once the story gets rolling, it's good, and you get to hear who's the guy that plays Chandler Bing in Friends.
I know his name.
Whatever. Anyway, he does the voice. He does the voice of
Benny,
one of the protagonists that shoots you in the head at the start.
Not antagonist.
Antagonist, I suppose. Yeah. The antagonizer.
Yes, antagonist. What the hell is his name?
But yeah,
please leave in the comments what the hell his name is. That's what you're tinkering with.
That's what I'm tinkering with, and also it's just one of those games. I might kind of go back to the last question there, like what game did you last complete? I was going to put in with that, what game did you last complete? 100%.
Watch your platinum.
Yeah, watch your platinum, or what did you just see the whole way through to the end where you just were completionist about? And New Vegas would have been one of those games where I think I was literally just 2 trophies off the platinum, and I was like, oh, okay, I might buy them just to get the platinum in it.
Yeah.
Just to see if I can do it. It's literally just 2 trophies and 2 easy ones. But I don't know why I didn't do it at the time, so I'll go back and I might try and do it this time. It's just 2 trophies.
It would take you long.
One of them was just playing hardcore mode, and one of them was eating like 10,000 hit points worth of food. And
10,000? Jesus Christ.
Worth of food. I think it's something like that anyway. But it has to be in a hardcore mode or something.
And on my, let's say, sister channel, which is, it's called J-Watch, but it's really J-Gamer, but I can't change the name because when I realised when I changed the name to J-Gamer, I was sending emails to important people and it had J fucking Gamer on the bottom. So I had to change it back to J-Watch. That I'm playing Enslaved Odyssey to the West. Have you ever heard that game?
I think I've seen the gameplay that you've uploaded. I think I watched one of you uploaded the gameplay.
I did. There's 2.
But I've seen the box art. You can think of the box art vividly in my head, and seeing it in the GameStop, thinking, what the fuck is this?
It's genuinely just most bizarre cover ever. Big huge robot on the back. The guy that looks like fucking shit, and he's dragging a girl who looks terrified that she's about to be assaulted in inappropriate ways.
Yeah. I don't know, for some reason it just reminded me of Avatar. I don't know why.
I 100% think that's what they tried to rip off.
Yeah, it's just the box art. It's just for some reason, just the box art puts Avatar in my head. I don't know why.
Yes, I completely agree.
I've never even seen gameplay of it until you played it. And I was like, why is he playing this game?
The reason I'm playing that game is because when I went into GameStop when I was younger, let's say during the PS3 era, at the very start of the PS3 era, they were doing a promotion. When you traded in 2 games, they gave you this free. They obviously have way too much in stock. They're looking to get rid of it. That's exactly what they're doing. But they were giving you Enslaved Odyssey to the West. So I thought, it's a free game. Throw it on. If it's good, I'll keep it. If it's bad, I'll trade it in and get something good. Turn that game on, and for 2 solid weeks, I binged the shit out of that game and finished it. It was so much fun, and it was one of the first games where the story was actually really touching, but not like depressing. It was just fun. The game was just really, really fun, and I enjoyed it the whole way through. The combat was miles ahead of its time.
Yeah.
The characters were ahead of their time. The only thing that let it down was it had a stupid name like Enslaved Odyssey to the West, but I realised afterwards it's based on a book, so they couldn't stray too far behind the title. So if anyone's looking for some cheap game you can find, I'm sure it's on Steam for nothing. Enslaved Odyssey to the West. It's a lengthy enough game. That's why I'm afraid of the Let's Play, because it's going to go on for so fucking long. Because the chapters last for nearly like 2 hours at a time, and there's a good few chapters in it. So, Enslaved Odyssey to the West, that's like my main game that I'm actually like looking forward to coming back and playing. I'm only playing it 1 day a week so that I don't get too exhausted with it, because recording takes so long because the fucking camera turns off every 15 minutes. So yeah, that's what I'm playing right now. What game coming up are you most looking forward to? I know myself, the big circled one is The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh yeah, Last of Us Part 2. Completely forgot about that.
A lot of people have.
Yeah, what's the other one that looks like it, but it's also a Sony exclusive, and it's a zombie game? Days Gone, isn't it?
Days Gone.
Is that it?
I'm getting it in 2 weeks' time. I have a pre-order.
Is that the other zombie one, but it's the Sony one as well?
It's the Sony one where you're a biker who's gone through some really generic zombie movie shit.
Yeah.
And what scares me about that game is that they've shown the same clip over and over again
like
of you being chased by like 100 zombies.
Sons of Anarchy Zombie Edition.
Yeah, pretty much. And I didn't even like Sons of Anarchy that much.
But yeah, I forgot about Last of Us 2.
Now, the footage of Last of Us 2 looks amazing. And it's probably like the only E3 kind of trailer that I'll actually believe.
Yeah.
Like on Anthem or so.
Yeah. Again, I've just been a little bit out of the loop. And the last game that I was really looking forward to, and I was just on the hype train, and there's this dude on YouTube, his name escapes my mind at the moment, some Asian dude. I was watching him at the time, and he was just constantly analysing all the videos that were uploaded for Death Stranding, the game, the new Hideo Kojima game, whenever it comes out, because you had Guillermo del Toro and Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah,
and
I was amazed at Mads Mikkelsen.
Norman Reedus, all these big kind of star names.
They are big star names. Like I know,
I know, like a lot of them are like normal people probably won't know who Guillermo del Toro is, like, or Mads Mikkelsen. Like he's very kind of.
Mads Mikkelsen is a character that you've probably seen pop up in the odd action movie or whatnot.
Yeah.
But like
Universal Soldier. He's in Universal Soldier.
I didn't know he was in Universal Soldier.
I'm probably thinking of something else.
I know he's in Battle Royale.
No, I'm thinking of the dude from. He was the fucking dude in Rocky. Is that
Oh my god, are you serious? That's not fucking him. That's Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah. So.
Dolph fucking Lundgren and Mads Mikkelsen are brothers. He's the guy from the Carling ad anyway, who doesn't know Mads Mikkelsen, who just goes, "That's the Danish way," and he has those weird lips.
Yeah.
Norman Reedus is going to play the protagonist. Guillermo del Toro is carrying a fucking baby. There's liquid and shit flowing all over the place. We don't know what's going on. It's a traditional Hideo Kojima game, and personally I can't wait, but I'm skeptical that we are not getting proper fucking gameplay yet.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. But to be expected. It's Hideo Kojima.
True. Like I jumped on the fan bus of Hideo Kojima after he left Konami.
Yeah.
So like I haven't been around for any of his launches or anything like that. So I know he's unconventional. So like I don't know to what extent I have to hang on for Death Stranding.
Long time.
Yeah. Like, did you play what was it called? The Silent Hill PT.
I think because they didn't name it Silent Hill, and it was just PT in a demo. I remember looking at it on the PlayStation Store and thinking, what is this PT thing? And then I just kind of left it off to the side, and I never really heard about it. And then I saw the trailer on YouTube, and that Norman Reedus too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'll go back and check this, and I might download it and play it. But then by then it was gone.
The whole controversy, yeah.
Konami took it down, and then there was this whole thing of the only way you could play it is if you had a PlayStation. That
those were selling for like hundreds,
like hotcakes.
Jesus, it was like the same when Flappy Bird went and everyone was buying the phones. You imagine that with
And
this PD.
they did something recently enough where even if you have it on the console and you're connected to the PlayStation,
They take it.
they take it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gone. Boop.
Which I don't think is fair. Like, if you have content on your PlayStation, you've actually paid for it through your subscription. They should. It doesn't matter who's bitching with who.
Some other dude remade it on PC, I think in Unreal Engine or some sort of game engine anyway, and then they caught wind of it and sent him a cease and desist, and that was the end of that.
I just like.
That's not happening.
Like, we missed out on what could have been like a really true gem that would have brought Silent Hill's franchise back. I argue that if that Silent Hill was released, Resident Evil 2, it would have been on that level.
Yeah,
Resident Evil would have been shit its pants knowing that Silent Hill had risen from the ashes of its failed ventures in gaming.
Yeah, I think like the ones on PS2 I've never played the ones on the PS2. I played the one on the PlayStation 1. That's a great game for its time for PlayStation 1. The ones on PS2 I never played. And I think the ones on the PS3 just seemed a bit meh.
It nearly seems the better the graphics, the worse
game gone.
Yeah. It was better when you could
PS2 era was peak gaming with mediocre graphics.
Like when it hit Silent Hill The Room, I think that's when it kind of fell. Like, I've never personally played Silent Hill, but I've gone back and I've watched Super Best Pals, I think that's their channel. The two of them play all these games back to back, and Silent Hill 2 obviously is one of the most treasured survival horror games of all time, and after watching it, it deserves that title. And I think they really could have brought that into this generation's game with a star like Norman Reedus pushing it, and it was going to be a completely rebooted of the series. It's such a shame that we didn't get that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, moving on now past that, it's probably a question that is going to be tough to answer. Have you ever cried while gaming? Like, I know there's a few experiences I have, but...
No.
Never? You've never cried?
I've never had a game.
Or maybe even like...
I've had movies where I'm like, yeah.
No. Movies are supposed to play on you like that. Yeah. I'm talking about games. You ever like that frog in your throat?
Fairly young anyway. It's probably about 8, 9 or 10 or something. I don't know. It was a Call of Duty game. Call of Duty Big Red One. It's called. It was on PS2. I don't know why I just got really attached to one of these characters, and he's like, you're part of this Brooklyn, and he has this like real Brooklyn kind of accent on him, and he dies eventually near the end of the game, and I was like, no, and I had to shed a tear. That's the only time I can remember.
So, for me, there's been a few moments in games where I've just been like, oh, that was emotional now, and I'll try to think of like one I can say in good detail. The time I was sad during gaming was during what was the game? I know there was a moment I was literally just there like, oh, I fucking hate this game. I think no. Do you know what? We'll go with a happy kind of. Do you know what I mean? Happy, sad, emotional. Uncharted 4. I bought the Uncharted HD collection just before my son was born, and I said I'm going to make it a mission to finish all these games because they're raved about it being excellent and whatnot.
Yeah.
And everything they claim Uncharted is, it meets that expectations and some. Where they say the characters, the story, and it really gives you the atmosphere that they're a family. Everyone in the game is a family. Their characters are truly connected to each other.
My favourite scene of that is, I don't know which one it's in. I think it's in Uncharted 4, where it's at the start and they're playing like
Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah,
that's 4.
Yeah, that's cool.
So,
it's one of my favourite scenes probably in anything.
It's such a cool scene because it just sits so perfectly in the game. It makes perfect sense what's going on. The moment in Uncharted 4 where like it's not in the game, but the game ends, and it ends just so nice and so perfect, and literally as the credits roll, and that's it. That's it. Uncharted is done now. Like this amazing adventure has come to an end, and I was actually really upset, and I was like, I'm so happy I got to play this game, and that's so corny because it's only a game and all, but I really, really enjoyed it. And that's the power of video games, I think, is that they do something that a movie cannot. They actually, like, you are the movie, you're making this happen. And that's why I personally love gaming.
Yeah.
And a lot of people give out to me for playing games and all, but like, I've learned so much through gaming. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I could not fucking quote anything in Italian until Assassin's Creed 2 came out.
Yeah.
It's Italians are screaming. That was not Italian accent, what we do. Yeah, so for me it was Uncharted 4 at the end. I really got that lump in my throat, and then they released the I would call it 4.B, the Lost Legacy, where it was like a half story, and it was a nice way to kind of slowly let the series die down. It let Uncharted 4 was like up there, and then the Lost Legacy just kind of went, yeah, here's like a small feed of Uncharted, just to let it die down. And even that game was really good, and at the end of that game I was like, yeah, this is finally it. But it gave me the closure because Nathan Drake was no more in it.
Yeah.
And it slowly let off the series. Like, that was the first time a gaming series that I was like, please don't go. So I really want them to leave it there.
Yeah, again, there's always that slight threat of a game ending so perfectly, yet they come back and rehash it.
Yes, they ruin it.
They ruin it. Well, I'd imagine if they do go back to it, like, I feel like the Uncharted series with Drake it's just done. Like,
yes,
there's no way you could go back. If you do go back with those characters, you just ruin it. It has to be just new characters.
I'd argue Sam.
Vibe. I think you just do a different vibe. Do it in space.
Uncharted Space.
Uncharted in space.
Uncharted in space. Well, it would be Uncharted
Space.
Yeah, that's true. Uncharted 6 Space. So, I think another series that, if I can just spin off from the question for a second, another series that should have ended before it did, in hindsight, even though the follow-up games are good, and don't get me wrong, you can quote me on this, they are some of my favourite games of all time because of how close they are to my other interests. The Arkham series.
Again,
never played the Arkham series. I religiously play the Arkham series. You're talking about platining Fallout New Vegas. I fucking made a mission to do Arkham Asylum. Asylum is the first one, okay? That's where you're introduced to the whole dark side of the Batman gaming.
Yeah.
And then we got Arkham City. I didn't even know Arkham City was being released. And I was like, I went to GameStop and I seen the game and I was like, I have to get this. And it ended so perfectly in hindsight.
Was that the last one, or is it just...
It's the second one, right? Then they released, if we're going with the mainstream games, not the stupid spin-off games of... Then we got Arkham Origins, which was okay, but in hindsight, I'd rather they just did the first two. And then we got Arkham Knight, which was a clusterfuck when it was originally released. They promised us like a brand new villain, and I guessed that it would be... I was like, oh, they haven't seen Red Hood. Bet you that's Red Hood. In the end, turns out to be Red Hood.
Yeah.
The story ends strangely, and the gameplay is focused on you being in the Batmobile that they've introduced as this fucking mega tank that can't be destroyed. And I was like, this isn't what Arkham should be. Arkham should be about interactions with these supervillains that we've known for so long. There's one scene in Arkham Knight that I think was excellent and by far the best scene in the entire game, and it's not even on the main quest. It's one of the side quests where you are with Mr. Freeze, and him and Nora, his wife, who was kept frozen to save her, they have this like really, really lovely interaction where Freeze realizes he can't save her, and he says, he's like, I need more time, and Nora says, time has never been on our side, Victor. And it just ends so perfectly. Then they hug and embrace, and I was like, how come isn't this in the main fucking series?
Christian Bale comes in. I'm Batman. I'm Batman.
Anyway, so we're gonna take a look at our empty wallets after a game. And what game have you ever spent the most amount of money on?
Oh, that'll take a bit of a thought. What game?
So, like, let's say online transactions. Let's say overall.
Trying to think now. Actually, to be honest, you kind of have me.
So like, let's say like
It's
Black
like on
Ops
that.
Online or anything, did you buy packs, or I don't know what way they do it on Black Ops or Call of Duty, or even your racing?
Gib, I spent the most money on. Oh, Jesus. Just come back to me on that.
Will I
one.
go first?
Yeah,
Okay.
you go. I
Well,
actually
it's simple. FIFA.
FIFA. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I know you don't really play FIFA too much, but during FIFA 13, it was the only FIFA game where I was confident I could actually beat any person that sat down at least once.
Oh, was it like what, the Ultimate Team? The
Mhm.
market thing?
Yeah,
What's it
marketplace.
The kinds you buy or whatever? I don't really know how it works.
What happens is you put in your card details and you're given FIFA points. You can use FIFA points to open essentially match attacks cards. You get to keep those cards.
Yeah.
I would be very, very confident in saying, between me and my brother, in the space of a year, spent €1,000 on these fucking cards.
Oh, I'd say easily. Yeah.
And we didn't even realise it was like €20 one week, €20 next week, €20 next week, €100 next week. And like,
Yeah, it's like, again, it's like this recent thing with games that have loot crates and stuff. It's like gambling.
Like in high,
it's basically gambling. Like,
yeah,
like oh, I'll chance it.
me back then, because I was living at home, I was working,
Yeah.
didn't have to worry about anything like that. But now,
Mm.
my God, I'd love to have that money back. Like, Jesus Christ.
It's like the loot crate thing in Counter-Strike. That was banned somewhere. I think it was like China. Or
I think,
they banned it because it was essentially gambling, like
yeah,
for
and
kids and stuff. Like they'd get hooked on it, and you'd see kids now, like especially with Black Ops and stuff like that.
Fortnite
Just
as
for
well.
yeah, just for a fucking skin or
Yeah. I couldn't give a fuck what some lad killing me looks like
yeah.
in a game. It's my
Ridiculous.
place went to shit there. We've been
Yeah.
here so long. Like, the loot crate thing is, it's getting a lot of bad rep, and they're 100% right to give it the bad rep.
Yeah.
It is 100% gambling, and I don't agree with it at all. Battlefront 2 is an okay game. It got slated for the loot crates, and it never ever got the mainstream attention in terms of gameplay or anything because of it. And I think that is exactly the right approach to take. Even though Star Wars is a series that I absolutely love, gambling should not be encouraged in gaming. Gaming is for fun, not for these huge companies to make a quick euro or two off of.
Probably even that much, I'd say. Like again, I try not to get sucked into the DLC side of things too much unless I feel like it's worth it.
Yeah.
And again, it's just one of those racing games that one that I played was playing regularly. The Assetto Corsa, the racing simulator. That when that first came out was pretty much an unfinished game.
Yeah.
This was at the time when they were just throwing games out just to have it out there and then make you pay for the rest. Like EA was doing this for a long time where they'd release the game and then to unlock the rest of the game basically you had to buy quote DLC for it. And basically this Assetto Corsa game, the cars you got at the start were very just basic starter stuff, and then to get all the cool cars you had to actually pay for the DLC, and I probably forked out a couple of hundred or so around that, like 100 or two I'd say.
Jesus Christ.
Because there was a lot of DLC packs and you had to get like racing tracks. Like there's racing tracks, like super popular racing tracks that are on the Formula 1 racing calendar and just popular tracks throughout the country and the world. Like the Nürburgring, which is this 13-kilometer race track. It takes proper cars like about 8 minutes to get under in real time, and it's just a track that every racing game has a standard and you have to pay for it in this game, which is silly. Like it's just one of those things, like, you know, it's like it's like I don't know what to compare it to. It's just silly, like.
It sounds like a jigsaw that you. The game finished now?
It's finished, and the second game is out, and I haven't played the second game just because of that bad experience of having to pay a lot just to get the full game. The first time around, it put a bad taste in my mouth to want to buy the second game.
It is a kick in the teeth as well.
So I'm basically just leaving it for a while until the game was dirt cheap on Steam, and they're like flogging it off with all the DLC for nothing.
It sounds like a real kick in the teeth, because anyone who's a fan of that game, like I don't know that game, but just from the sounds of it, anyone who is a fan of that game, it has supported the whole way through. They probably weren't given like thank you around by but someone who like, oh look, there's a bundle they got for like half the price you paid. Like I think that's a real kick in the fucking teeth.
The bundles are fucking cheap.
Yeah,
like expensive.
So
it was that's like a game that you've spent the most on, but
So this is our second last question. This is probably going to be a really, really quick one. It's a nice light little question. Your favorite song ever from a video game?
Oh, that scene in Metal Gear Solid 3
Oh,
when they're climbing
you
up the ladder.
Fucker, you took it off me. For me, it was between Still Alive from Portal, which you showed me first, and then I went and finished the game, and I was like delighted to actually get there, and Snake Ear.
Snake Ear. Yeah.
I give my life.
So good. I literally just ran back down the ladder just to go back up.
Yeah. His arm was probably fucking wrecked after that.
Weird.
But like, it's such a Bond-esque song. It's perfect. Yeah. It's perfect for that game. Yeah. Like, I remember hearing the song before I even played the game. Like, it was perfect. Yeah. So we both agreed. Snake Ear is
a Snake Ear. That's
100% lock it in.
Climbing up the ladder.
So we've been going for a really, really long time. I only actually hurts. I don't know about you.
Oh, well, I talk every day for a living. So.
That is true. James is would you call yourself a call center operative?
I suppose. Telephonist.
Telephonist. It's not a telepathic.
Yeah. No.
Telephonist. Telepathist.
Wish I was telepathic.
Yeah. Then you could know who to call for the sales. Yeah. Okay. Big question. But action or story? Take your time, John. Take your time.
I'd probably say story. Yeah.
Yeah?
Story.
Do you want to back that up?
Yeah, just games that have just not just the main story. I mean, games that have depth and personality with lore, and they back it up with little kind of notes and stuff throughout games. Things that are completely irrelevant, but like they just help give the game life and.
I completely agree with you.
A bit of an aura to the world itself, like, and I suppose that would be games like Mass Effect, where you would be doing your missions and you have these computers and you go up and you read the notes and you just get a bit of background as to what happened, who lived in the place you were in. Same with, like, I suppose the Fallout series again as well, and again, Metal Gear Solid just throws story at you. I think there's a scene in Metal Gear Solid 4, it's probably like an hour long. Like, you could just sit there and just like watch a movie.
I think someone compiled all the cutscenes from Metal Gear 4 and it just went on for
hours. Like, definitely story. Like you need something to just entice you in. Again, like, action is good and important to have. There has to be a well balance with it. But again, I think story, for me anyway, it's more story driven than action, really.
I would agree. I put it this way. Okay.
Like, I like a good shoot 'em up, like.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, if we dive into the Metal Gear world again, Metal Gear Rising, Revengeance. I can't remember the full title.
Yeah.
The hack and slash adventure.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah, that wasn't for me anyway.
The gameplay for that, amongst fans, because I haven't played it. I've only looked it up on YouTube. Let's Plays on that. Everyone says it's so much fun to play, and it's perfect for anyone who does like hack and slash and Metal Gear. They say it's the perfect combination, and they praise the living shit out of that. No one is talking about that game right now, bar us here.
Yeah.
People are still talking about The Last of Us. People are still talking about Uncharted. People are still talking about the remix, the reboot version of Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Like, these games that are story driven and character driven, like, those are the people you remember. Like I said earlier, Red Dead Redemption. I'm not talking about the action in it, which was absolutely amazing. I'm talking about those characters that got me hooked and the connections they had. And I think that if you want your game to last the test of time and to be widely praised, you need to have a good team working on the story. I'll go further and say the recent addition to God of War series, God of War 4.
Yeah, I didn't get around to playing that. I need to, big time.
I never played any of the God of Wars because they seemed very similar in gameplay.
God of War 3 is fantastic.
Yeah.
By the way, I think.
I've gone back and I've looked them all up and what Let's Plays and all that kind of stuff.
Just play it the first time and you'll get through it, and then do game. I don't know what they call it, Game Plus, whatever. You know that thing?
Yeah.
Where you just get to keep all your shit and go through it again. That was the funnest thing ever.
I didn't even know that was such a thing until like recently.
Yeah, you have all like the all the equipment and stuff, and you're basically
Just slashing the shit out of like level 1 villains.
Yeah, and it's just super fun. Like and then you're going through with all this cool equipment, and it just makes everything so much easier.
I will say that.
But
God of War 4 will leave a more lasting impression on
yeah.
you.
God of War is one of those games where they do the action and the story, and they're both just.
Would you say on par?
They're just on par. Yeah, they just work in unison together, where there's just the right amount of action, and it's just.
I think they nailed it this time
Yeah.
with the improved voice acting, and the slower pace. I think really suits Kratos in his kind of, let's say, his older age, and the fact that they've rebooted the series to kind of fit into the Norse mythology. So you're introduced to this gorgeous environment, absolutely gorgeous. I finished the game. I'd never played God of War. I looked up. I knew I was going in to get it because I had it booked, and I got it for cheaper than usual in Argos. That's a tip for anyone who's looking for cheap games, get in Argos because they're always cheaper on release.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
I got this for €50 when it was retail at 75 in GameStop.
Yeah, I used to do that. Go to GameStop and then go down to Argos.
Yeah, I would do the three. I'd go to CX, see if anyone's traded in, Argos, GameStop, and more than likely they always go back to Argos.
Yeah, true.
Got God of War and didn't really. I thought it was gonna be one of those games, 3 hours traded in, and I just the story kept me going. The action was perfect, but if like Horizon Zero Dawn, just running from point A to B with cool fighting isn't enough to keep me going. The story has to keep there. Like Origins.
Yeah, just because you're bedding around on the horse half the fucking time, but you're getting to interesting story and background. And even side quests are interesting as well. Like there's could have just done that thing where all side quests are
chase person A,
chase person, but the
tail person
are kind of like that. But
yeah,
when you go approach those stories, the background is always different. You actually see different characters and different people talking about what's happening in their life.
So we both agreed on story being more important than action. Not saying action isn't important, but story is what attracts us to a game. Let us know what you prefer, action or story. So with that concludes this podcast from both James and I. We really hope you enjoyed it. This was our first time ever doing this we're going nearly an hour and a half now.
Yeah, I think we should cut it down to an hour next time.
Yeah, we're going to cut it down next time. We're not going to set... I've thought about this on myself. I haven't really talked to James about it. I think he's probably going to agree with me. We're not going to set a routine. We're going to do this whenever it feels right because we want it to be comfortable. We want it to just be the two of us talking like we are now. Like, we would speak this way to each other in our own time. We want to keep this podcast genuine, and if he has any words now, I'm going to hand it over to him before we sign off.
No, I think
You think you're better?
Yeah, pretty much done talking for one day.
Yeah, no, like I'm a talker and I am tired right now.
Yeah.
So sorry, I'm cutting you off there.
No.
Okay. The next time we're hoping to do a shorter video, an actual video this time rather than audio. We might come back and do a podcast itself if, let's say, a huge gaming event, E3 or something like that comes around and we have actual things to talk about. But the next time we might cut it. I have no idea. The last one was that was a disappointment, I'll be honest with you. So we're going to do a shorter video next time, and thank you so much for listening. If you made it this far into the video, please like, share, subscribe. More content coming soon. Who knows what the future will hold. Hopefully Aimless, Shameless gets revived through this and it gets his spark. You can catch me over at jgamer/jwatch. Links to both our channels in of GameCast, and both of our pages are on the side. Thank you so much for listening. God bless you. This is both of us signing off. Say goodbye, James. I can't see you waving.
Yeah, I'm waving.
Goodbye, everyone.